Okay, so my consulting company is a company that has a focus in agro industry, and for us, usual to have a connection with the best consultant in their specialization. I mean, for tomato, we have the cooperation with Artemio Bormioli that unfortunately today is not present because has a healthy problem, and it declined to be here today. But anyway, what we do is for different types of project have with us the best practices and the best consultant to give you focus on the fields that you need. So this is the main major part, major work of for food company. Because we try to have different focus in industry, in processes and projecting layout, also in sales, and whatever means the different sector that we can provide consultancy in the industry. Today, okay, today also there is present with me because Artemio cooperated and continues cooperate with a Navatta company. But since Artemio is not here, about the process will be a really high specialist, Marco Meli. And at the end, I apologize, but Massimo has an urgent problem during the night with a customer. And there is the sales director of Navatta, Celso Bedogni, instead of Massimo Navatta. So I prepared the slides for the presentation, and following, sorry. Okay, so the summary, I took the 4 points that we received from UNIDO. And so we will start with peeled and diced tomato products, the criteria of good varieties, where to find the best varieties and suitable season for receiving. Peeled and diced tomato product, innovation in the recipes and products. Peeled and tomato products, the phases of processing and related operation. And peeled and diced tomato product, this description of the production line. So you will see 2 different project layout of this kind of production line. So we, since the time was really short, we stay really happy in terms of the slides. And anyway, the next also next days, if you need more question, we'll go deeply in the different aspects. We will be here to serve you. Okay, you can follow the. Give you a short introduction about what is a tomato in terms of its nutritional facts and contents, because some of them are important for the technologies and for the results and the performance of the tomato in the different production line and processes. And so mainly tomato, as we know, is mainly made of water, 94 and 96% of water. After that, carbohydrates, 2%, 3%, and 5% maximum. Proteins, 1.2%, fibers, 1%, and fat, 0.2%. So you see that, as you know, in terms of kilocalories, is very, very, very low. Vitamins, there is a lot of vitamins inside. Provitamin A, so the group of the provitamin A, in terms of carotenoids and lycopene. And also there is acid ascorbic and vitamin E, and some of the vitamins of the group B. In terms of mineral, there is also important part of mineral in iron, zinc, selenium, and phosphorus, and calcium, associated with the citrates and tartrates. So those are salts. And those are important because in terms of anti-radical properties. And also we have organic acid, such as malic acid and citric and succinic and glutenin, that are recognized in terms of organic acid, interesting in terms of digestion process for our human physiology. In terms of water, okay, in terms of criteria of good varieties, important is the percentage of the water, as you know, because it means that tomato is more water as in terms of we need to have a concentrated product, we need to have more energy to decrease to have a concentrated. But in terms of sugars, in terms of acidity, we have in terms of sugar much as possible is 3.5% to choose the varieties for the diced and peeled tomato. Acidity 5-9% of dry matter. Color, it depends, is a function of lycopene and contents of lycopene and carotenes, and pH is important, will be around 4.2, 4.6, better to stay 4.2 in terms of conservability of the product, also when it is canned. What we need to avoiding, mainly molds such as Aspergillus and Penicillium. Why we need to avoid this? Because after you bring it internally to the process, but also we need to avoid it before to arrive in the company, during the harvest or when we are in the fields, because it means that is a product that we needed to throw away because it's not suitable to be worked during the processes. And also it's very important to avoid during the period in the field Marchumia apicale is a problem that we can have on the tomato due to lack of calcium in the field, and it's not regular water presence. So it means that tomato started to become dark and not very suitable to be worked in the process. One of the most important requirements for the peeled tomato and diced tomato is the content of cellulosic pectin. That is a combination that you can find in the peel of mainly in the peel of the tomato, and it's very important because for the peel it is important that the tin of the peel is very strong and thick, so it's easy to peel it, and also it preserves, since it's easy to peel it, you have at the end for the peeled tomato, you are able to keep safe the whole sides of the tomato, so you don't broken it during the peeling, as Marco will explain to you later. And so this is very, very important, the content of this. If we need to choose tomato for juices or concentrated, is important that it doesn't need to have so high cellulose pectin content. We will see, for example, that the best one for peeled tomato as a cultivar is San Marzano, that has a very, very thick skin, a very, very thick peel of the tomato. You can go to the next one. I also, in terms of where to find the best varieties and suitable season for the season, I give you a short brief about the most important producer around the world: China and India, United States. You see that the production of the tons is 61 million of tons from China. Since we were speaking about with Egypt, also they have in 5th position. This is a source file 3-4 years ago, but anyway, is quite the same. And also Italy has a production of roughly 6 million of tons. Spain and Mexico and Brazil, those are the most important producers. So where to find best varieties or anyway quantity to be reworked, those are the most producers around the world. You can go to the next one. Speaking about Italy, as we know, the quantity of tomato in produced in Italy as a raw material. Then the most important region where you can find it is Veneto and Lombardy and Emilia, but also they are very well known Campania and Puglia. Campania for the most important and more known cultivar that is San Marzano. And so the main region that we have a production is also Tuscany in Maremma, that is a part of South Tuscany, and the Lazio, Maremma Laziale, that is the north part of the Lazio region. And those are the most important region where you can find a really good product, because personally, but Italian tomato, for the climate, for the soil, and so on, has the really, really good cultivar and really good product to be reworked in industrial process. Even you want to have peeled, or if you want to have diced or juices as well, or concentrated. Okay. The production of the total industrial use is the major part in Ity, so about roughly 6 million tons of tomato produced yearly. The 50%, but sometimes more, is dedicated to the industrial use. And 1 million roughly of tomato is generally used for collectivity in terms of schools, in terms of hospitals as raw material, and the other part is sold to retailers for business to consumer part of business. You can go to the next one. I tried to give you a focus also to you as entrepreneur, because if you want to start to produce tomato, it's important which is the major part of market, the share of the market in Italy. And so you can see in the first on the left, you can see that concentrate is the red one, as 30% of the raw material is used to produce concentrated during the year. So the percentage is roughly there. A lot of part arriving also from Eastern, from abroad. And there is a part of is dedicated, the 39% is dedicated to the production of the pulp derivatives, and then roughly 27, 29, 30% is dedicated for passata, and really a niche for the dressing. So it's important that if you are interested, is your purpose to produce derivatives from tomato and to export to Italy, this is an important brief to you to understand if you want to focalize your production in terms of choosing of the production line for concentrated or for pulp and passata. And so you can see here what is the market, the share of the market that you can as a target for your business. So mainly consider that passata is a tomato sauce, is called tomato sauce, and the tomato sauce and concentrate and pulp are really also used from industries like that reuse this kind of product for his product. For example, in Italy, there is a lot of Italian company that produce pizza, and usually on the pizza, frozen pizza or chilled pizza made in the industries, we use the tomato sauce or pulp. Concentrated is also used sometimes to be different ratio of concentration to adding or to cut with passata to have industry different type of density to use on the product. Also, passata is really used in, and you can find a lot with the pulp as well in on the retailers. the niche of 2% of dressing, it means that the part of the different ingredients such as olives or other ingredients, basil and so on, to prepare some ready dressing to use directly. Between 17 during the years 18–19% Horeca, and the major part, as you see, is industry. So as I told to you, industry has a lot of use of concentrated and tomato sauce and pulp. Industry doesn't use the niche that is made of dressing. This was a short brief in terms of where I want to focalize my production and what is the suitable production line and cultivar that I need to choose to serve the target market that I want. So if we can go forward. Also, speaking about from the fields, is important that the characteristic of the raw material is very important in terms of physical properties that I told to you, and also in terms of avoiding some mold or yeast or different problem of health of the product of the tomato. And we give you a short brief in terms of some cultivation technique that you must to have a focus or to consider when you go to choosing the varieties and the cultivar and where to choose the raw material. In terms of climate, consider that the best vegetative development temperature must be above 10 degrees. And so the germination begin with a temperature of over than 12 or 13 degrees, with best condition of temperatures between 20 and 28. So this is the most important parameters of the temperature that you need to consider when you are on the fields. To consider where you want to choose the fields that you want to seeds your tomato. In terms of temperature over than 32 degrees are not suitable because it decreases the production of the lycopene. Consider lycopene is a important characteristic of the tomato that gives us also the colors of tomato. But during this year, there are a lot of companies, mainly located in the United States and Israel, that rework part of the tomato to extract lycopene, because this is a very important in terms of different type of market for healthcare market, but also for industry reuse, for ketchup, for example, or to use it as an improver of the taste, so as an additive, natural additive to some recipes and dressing for different type of dressing. In terms of, so if we this kind of temperature, 32 degrees, more than 32 degrees, the production of lycopene is compromised, and so it's important that consider also this if is in your interest to have a good content of the lycopene in the raw material. In terms of fields, the pH of the fields must be 6 or 6.5 are the best condition, but also the tomato is able to develop with an acid pH as 5.5 to 5.7 maximum. Well-drained soil is very important. So tomato needs good quantity of water, but it's important that the water doesn't remain in the soil for too much time near the roots. So it's important that permeate and stay not over on the top of the field. So permeate, and when permeated, don't stay too much. So well-drained soil are very important in the choosing of the fields. Fertilization, we give you some idea in terms of which is the needs per hectares of the most important fertilizers, starting from phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen. Those are the quantities that usually are recommended per hectares when you start to have production of tomato. Irrigation, you see that 6,000 cubic meters of per hectares of water for a production of 500 quints of per hectares is a high quantity of the water. So you must also consider this when you decided where to produce the tomato, or and the major part of the water for the irrigation, the 60%, 70% must be give. I'm speaking for the climate in Italy, must give to the tomato from July till the harvest, for example. And the sowing in Italy is start in April in North Italy and in March in South Italy. The campaign normally start from end of July till end of September. I give you some brief in terms of important cultivar for industrial use, separated between them when they need to be sowed. So there are cultivar that they are very early planting. So in Italy we call precocissime, and so those are cultivar that, for example, Sole Rosso and Lampo, that you can see before. Early transplanting, transplant. There are some cultivars like Trian and so on. The most important, anyway, for the peeled and diced tomato is the San Marzano. No? San Marzano is the most important cultivar for the peeled. You see also in the section the thick of the peel of the skin of the tomato, and this is important that for the production that we need this important raw material and cultivar to use for diced and peeled tomato. You can go forward. Okay, go forward, please. Okay, in terms of new technologies in production, give you a general consideration. It was only this. We during the years the whole process with soda was be substituted with the improvement in progress in technology, and mainly in the part of the peeling. So with new machinery and new technologies that permit to you to avoid the using of chemicals, for example soda, and so giving you avoiding also reducing consumption of energy and water, and give you interesting perspective for a healthy and friendly environmentally process. And this is also give you two different advantages: don't using chemicals in this process step. For example, it permits to you to rework the broken tomato and the peels also to produce tomato juices. And for the diced tomato, the seeds that are separated from the process are using for the oil processing or for animal feeds. So avoiding chemicals means to have less waste, because you can better rework the part that you separated from the tomato during the process, and also avoiding waste, general waste, in terms of chemicals that you don't use in the process. And also what we can suggest in terms of a process, the rotary can pasteurizing cooling is the best thermal treatment to ensure and to give you good product in terms of preservation and have avoiding loss of the color or the taste of the product. And Marco after will explain to you better. And so those are important considerations in terms of new technology in production. Also, you can give forward. I give you also some idea about the retail market data. Consider that the canned tomatoes market data is 500 million euros in Italy, and also we have that's equal 400 million kilos of product. The most important percentage is tomato puree, coming back also from the slides that we saw before. And second, in terms of percentage in value is the tomato pulp, peeled tomatoes, third one, tomato concentrate 6% in value, and cherry tomato 4% in value. So those are some ideas that we can give you in terms of when you start to study a production line or a new startup or new product development. If you want to serve the market in Italy, those are some ideas in terms of market share. It was also a product in innovation recipes and products. In terms of recipe as a technology, so we are speaking about the technology part. The different recipes mainly due to, if we are speaking about peeled tomato, of the juice density, and so the difference between and diced tomato is the juice density. In peeled tomato, they are canned with a natural tomato juice, and in diced tomato, generally an adding is the diced are canned with a semi-concentrated juice, and so those are the main. For sure, the yellow tomato is something new trend in Italy, very, very important. You see more than one Italian producer that focalized his business on yellow tomato. And also there is some different type of recipes in that case. That is a product made with adding different ingredients, so olives or different kind of recipes as Agromonte prepared with artichoke and tomato ciliegino. And so those are the panorama of the product that you can find in Italy. Also in Italy, in the fresh product, in the retailer, you now find really tomato starting from the green one till the black one, the yellow, the orange. So, and for sure, industries in Italy arrive also to transform these to have a different type of recipe to propose to the retailers in Italy, but also abroad. So those are, in terms of recipes, as a new MPD, new product development that you can consider also for your business. Okay, we can go forward. Okay, so here I kindly ask to Marco to go on to speaking about the process technologies. We prepared the slides we've given you before a flow chart of the processes, the two different processes. We have a common part of the process in the beginning and at the end, and in the middle the two different type of the process with different type of flowchart that has a minimum difference in this case between peeled and diced tomato, and also Marco has two slides with a project layout, so you can see the continuously the sequence of the machinery during the production line. So Marco, if you want, you can go on.